Hi, everyone. Janet Robinson here. Welcome back to the Deep Dive, the only place where my favorite normies, Tommy Bennett and Lilly Jones, unpack the mysteries from uncomfortable theories. So sink into your beanbag chair, grab a warm cup of tea, or just keep your eyes on the road. And let's get into it. Tommy, Lilly, take it away.
You die. That's how it starts. No preamble, no bright lights, not at first. Just, you die. The moment stretches out, time stops having any real meaning, and then suddenly you wake up.
Yeah.
You're in a void. And standing there is someone or something waiting for you.
It's the ultimate opening hook, right? It just grabs you because it's the one question we all have.
Yeah.
What happens next?
And the answers are usually pretty standard, heaven, hell, nothingness. But today, we're unpacking a scenario that answers that question in a way that is, well, it's simultaneously beautiful and, if you really sit with it, absolutely terrifying.
We're doing a deep dive into Andy Weir's famous short story, The Egg.
But we're not just reading the story, we're looking at it through a very specific, very dark lens.
A lens provided by Janet Robinson from her series Uncomfortable Theories.
Which is necessary, because when people talk about the egg, and I mean, it's been around since 2009, it's huge, they talk about it like it's this warm, fuzzy blanket.
Oh, absolutely. It's the ultimate we're all one narrative. People get tattoos inspired by this story.
I've heard they quote it at weddings, which is interesting.
It creates this profound sense of connection. The premise is you meet God in this void, and he tells you you're about to be reincarnated. But the twist isn't that you're coming back as like a bug or a king. The twist is that you're being reincarnated as everyone.
Right, and on the surface, it sounds amazing. I'm me, but next time I'm you, and then I'm, a beetle, and then I'm a peasant in the 14th century.
The central mechanic is that there is only one soul in the entire universe. Every human being who has ever lived is just the same soul experiencing reality one life at a time.
It's the ultimate argument for the golden rule. Weir even said he wrote it to basically say, be nice to your neighbor because your neighbor is literally you.
Fairness built into the physics of the universe.
So why does Janet Robinson call this a solipsistic nightmare? I mean, I read her script, The Infinite Loneliness, and she takes this beautiful concept of unity and just. She argues it's a horror story disguised as a greeting card.
Because she follows the logic to its absolute conclusion. We stop at the we're all one part and feel good. Robinson pushes past that and asks, if we are all one, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for us?
Okay, let's unpack that. Because we are all one is usually the goal of spirituality. Why is being everyone a bad thing in this context?
Well, it comes down to the definition of connection. I mean, think about the relationships you value most. Your partner, your best friend, even this conversation right now. What makes it meaningful?
The back and forth, the fact that I'm throwing an idea at you and you're throwing one back, I'm being understood by someone who isn't me.
That's the key phrase, someone who isn't me. Connection requires separation. It requires an other.
Okay.
But in the universe of the egg, there is no other. Robinson points out that if you are everyone, you are the loneliest being in existence. Every conversation you've ever had has been a monologue.
That's a little bleak. It's like playing chess against yourself.
It's worse than chess. It's a hall of mirrors. Robinson frames it as you interacting with another version of you that doesn't know it's you.
So falling in love.
The pinnacle of human connection, right? Two souls finding each other.
In this framework, I'm just falling in love with myself.
It's narcissism on a cosmic scale, but it's tragic narcissism. Think about a moment where a stranger smiled at you on a really bad day. Maybe you were just stressed and that smile grounded you. You felt seen.
Yeah, that's a powerful feeling, a real connection.
But in this theory, that wasn't a connection. That was just you reaching across time and space to comfort yourself because there was literally no one else to do it.
But doesn't that make it more poignant, in a way, that we're self-soothing?
Robinson argues it makes it pathetic. It means you have never had a genuine connection with another being. Not once. Because there are no other beings.
Wow.
You're an isolated consciousness in a void, creating billions of puppets to talk to, because the alternative is just absolute silence.
So we aren't a community. We're a fractured mind trying to distract itself.
A hall of mirrors where the reflections don't know they are reflections. That isolation, that absolute cosmic solitude, is the baseline reality of this universe. Robinson calls it the illusion of connection.
You think you're at a party, but you're actually in a solitary confinement cell hallucinating the guests.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how that's existentially lonely. But loneliness is one thing. Robinson's analysis gets much, much darker when she moves into what she calls the moral nightmare.
This is where that whole fairness idea really starts to curdle. Because if you are everyone, you aren't just the person receiving kindness, you are also the person inflicting the cruelty.
Right. We always focus on the victim side of this. Oh, I shouldn't hurt him because he is me.
But Robinson flips it. She points out that you aren't just the victim, you are the perpetrator.
Let's start small, with just everyday betrayals.
Every time someone lied to you, you lied to yourself. Every time a partner cheated on you, you cheated on yourself.
You're the toxic boss and the overworked employee, the bully and the kid being shoved into the locker.
It completely dissolves the line between victim and perpetrator, which is terrifying because we usually find comfort in being on the right side of things. We think, I would never do that.
But this story says, oh, you did do that, and you're doing it right now in another life.
It removes the ability to judge evil, because you are the evil. And Robinson takes this to the logical extreme with historical atrocities.
Yeah, the source material got heavy here. She brings up the American Civil War. You were Abraham Lincoln, sure.
But you were also John Wilkes Booth.
The liberator and the assassin.
You pulled the trigger, and you took the bullet. But let's look at the most extreme example she provides. The Holocaust.
This part it's hard to even wrap your head around.
In the egg, you are every single victim in the gas chambers. You experience that fear, that pain, that death millions of times over. The sheer volume of that suffering is just unimaginable.
Right.
But simultaneously, you are every guard. You were the one turning the key. You were the one shouting the orders. You were Hitler.
It reframes the Holocaust and every genocide as self-inflicted harm.
It's not man's inhumanity to man. It's self's inhumanity to self.
And this is where Robinson says the beautiful theory just collapses. How do you hold the memory of gassing your own family while also holding the memory of watching them die?
It sounds like a complete fracturing of the self, a level of self-hatred and self-destruction, that is. It's pathological.
She mentions things like rape and murder explicitly.
You are the rapist and the victim, the murderer and the murdered. Every scream you hear on the news is your own voice.
Which brings us to the big question, why? Why would any universe be designed this way? Why would God create a system where a single soul has to torture itself for eternity?
This is what the source calls the curriculum of suffering. Because in the story, God actually gives a reason for all this. It's not random.
It's the egg. The universe is an incubation chamber.
Right. The whole point is maturation. God tells the protagonist that they're being reincarnated to grow, to mature, to eventually become a god themselves. The implication is that you need to experience everything to reach that level of existence.
And everything is the key word. It doesn't just mean the sunsets and the first kisses.
No. It means the trenches, the cancer wards, the torture chambers.
So Robinson's argument is that if you must live every life to mature, then evil acts aren't mistakes.
They are requirements. They are part of the syllabus.
Just let that sink in. Genocide isn't a tragedy in this worldview. It's a required course.
Exactly. If the soul needs to understand the full spectrum of existence, it needs to understand the mind of the killer just as much as the mind of the saint.
So child abuse, starvation, ethnic cleansing, these aren't bugs in the system. They are features.
They're deliberately designed into reality because your soul needs the data from those experiences, from all angles.
It turns the universe into this sadistic schoolhouse. And the worst part is, according to the story, who created this universe? Or at least, who is it created for?
You, or, a higher version of you. The universe isn't indifferent. It was made this way on purpose.
You set up a system where you have to suffer in every conceivable way just to grow up.
But what kind of growing up is that? If this is the process to become a god, what kind of god are you actually becoming?
That's the most provocative insight in Robinson's theory, I think. We assume the end result is some wise, benevolent deity.
But look at the input. Human history is bloody. It's full of trauma.
If you spend billions of years experiencing every possible form of agony...
You are not building a benevolent creator. You are building a god of PTSD. A traumatized entity formed entirely through the deliberate experience of horror. Robinson asks, is the being that emerges from the egg wise? Or is it insane?
I've never thought about the graduate of the egg. I always assumed they'd be zen. But you're right. If I lived just one life of severe trauma, I'd be messed up. If I lived billions.
You would be the accumulation of all that pain, and the curriculum is heavily weighted towards suffering.
This gets even messier when we bring in the physics of it all, the infinity problem. We kind of touched on it. The time doesn't work normally. But Robinson says this is the lock on the prison door.
Right. When the protagonist dies, God mentions they might be reincarnated into the past. You could be a peasant in 500 BC or a spaceman in the year 3000. It's not linear.
So it's not like I finished being a victim in the Middle Ages and then level up to being a tech billionaire in 2024.
No. From the perspective of the void, the outside of the egg time is meaningless. All of human history is happening simultaneously. It's all one event.
So wait, explain what that means for the soul, for me.
It means you aren't just done with the bad lives. You didn't finish being the victim of a plague centuries ago. You are currently, right now, experiencing it.
My brain hurts.
Think of it like a movie reel. The characters in the movie think time is moving forward. But if you hold the whole reel in your hand, the beginning, middle, and end all exist at once. You are the reel.
So while I'm sitting here, comfortable talking to you,
Another version of you is currently dying in a trench in World War I. Another version of you is watching their child die of hunger in a famine. Another version of you is being tortured in a medieval dungeon.
and because I'm the only soul.
You are feeling all of that, essentially, right now.
That makes the now incredibly claustrophobic.
It destroys the idea of escape. There's no after. There's no rest in peace. There is only the eternal loop of the present. Robinson emphasizes that you are trapped in this simultaneous screaming.
It's the ultimate solipsistic trap. Infinite loneliness experiencing itself forever. That line from the source. It really lands differently when you realize forever is happening all at once.
It forces us to reevaluate the beauty of the story. We usually think of the universe as vast and full of possibility. But if the egg is true, the universe is incredibly small. It's just a single room with a single occupant.
Changing costumes billions of times. Hurting itself, comforting itself, killing itself, birthing itself.
Yeah.
So we have the story that people love because it represents empathy. But when you apply Janet Robinson's uncomfortable theory, it transforms into a nightmare about a singular entity trapping itself in a mirror maze of pain.
It challenges the very concept of empathy. We think empathy is about understanding the other. But here, empathy is just self-awareness. It dissolves the other entirely. And Robinson argues that once you realize that, the beauty of the story just collapses. You aren't learning to love your neighbor, you're just learning that there is no neighbor.
So, what do we do with this? Robinson wraps up her theory with a conclusion on how we should react to this information. But given everything we've just said, is there a reaction that even makes sense?
Her conclusion is bleakly pragmatic. She asks, so what do you do? And the answer is, it doesn't matter.
Because of the determinism.
Exactly. If the theory is true, you are already living every possible response. In one life, you're hearing this theory and laughing it off. In another, you're starting a religion based on it.
In another, you're despairing and jumping off a bridge. In another, you're ignoring it completely to go watch TV.
You don't have a choice in how you react, because you are destined to react in every possible way across your billions of lifetimes. It renders agency meaningless. You are just checking boxes on a list of all possible human behaviors.
That is
Right.
paralyzing. It takes a story that feels like a warm hug and turns it into a cold shiver down the spine. But I have to ask, is there any value in this dark interpretation? Or is it just Robinson trying to ruin a nice story?
I think the value lies in the burden of awareness. Even if we reject the whole solipsism part, the idea that every act of cruelty is self-inflicted is a powerful ethical tool.
Like, even if it's a nightmare, the logic still holds up. If I hurt you, I am degrading the quality of the universe we both share.
Robinson suggests that looking at the nightmare scenario forces us to confront the reality of suffering. We like to compartmentalize suffering. That's happening over there to those people. But the egg forces you to say, that is happening to me.
It removes the luxury of indifference.
Precisely. Whether it's a beautiful dream or a solipsistic nightmare, the mandate is the same. Stop the suffering. Because in some way, you are the one feeling it.
But for most of us, I think we'd prefer the version where you and I are different people. I'd rather just be me talking to you, a separate, distinct person. Even if it means I can never truly 100% know what it's like to be you, I think I'm okay with that gap.
That gap is what makes love possible. That gap is what makes surprise possible. Without the separation, there's no bridge to cross. There is just the void.
Well, on that cheerful note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive. It has been a fascinating, if slightly terrifying, look at Andy Weir's The Egg through the eyes of Janet Robinson.
It certainly changes how you look at the stranger on the street.
It changes how you look at the mirror, too. And honestly, It makes me appreciate that I don't know what you're thinking right now.
I can tell you, but then I'd just be talking to myself.
Touché. We want to leave you with the final thought from the source material, something to keep you up at night as you ponder the nature of your reality. Robinson ends her theory with this haunting sentiment. If you're the only thing that exists, you'll never stop being alone.
Sleep tight.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Catch you in the next lay.